Hey everybody, friends call me Rosie. Welcome to my backyard. Man, it's a beautiful day for some spare ribs, don't you think? Oh, and would you look at that? Today I'm going to show you a step-by-step tutorial to make your ribs perfectly juicy and tender every time. No wrap required, super simple. Let's get grilling. The prep for these ribs actually starts the night before. I want to get them out of the package, trimmed and seasoned so that they can sweat overnight in the fridge and be ready for the morning. Let's go. Pork spare ribs are cut from the lower belly of the hog. They're larger and they're flatter than baby back ribs. You know, those have more of a curve, and those actually come from near the spine. So baby backs cook faster and they contain more muscle, but spare ribs are marbled with that rich fat we love. That means tons more flavor and tenderness. I'm doing a no wrap method for these ribs, and you'll see why a little later. I found these pork spare ribs at Sam's Club in a pack of 2. So it was at $2.66 a pound and roughly 4.5 pounds per rack. So the total cost is about $12.50 per rack. So you'll see I pat them dry with a paper towel. Now it's time to trim them up. I always start with this flab on the underside because this is gonna burn up so fast, I just take it off now. I also wanna get these pieces that are kind of hanging off and hanging away for the exact same reason. Next, I'm gonna feel around to find the 2 smallest ribs and cut those away, and there's a little gross part on there, so I get that off too. The reason I do that is they get tough and dry. The ribs in the middle are still cooking and they are already done, so no bueno, off they go. I'm also gonna remove this chine bone up top. This has a lot of fat and cartilage attached to it. It's not good for eating. Lots of folks take off the membrane on the bottom, but I leave it on because that thin little piece of tissue is gonna melt away anyway, and during the cook, it's gonna hold in more of that wonderful fat, keeping it inside the ribs instead of dripping all over the bottom of my grill. All right, everything's looking pretty square here. So now these are ready for seasoning. I kept it simple with an ancho coffee blend I found from the Spice Lab. It's an interesting flavor, kind of zesty, kind of sweet. But you can use your favorite store-bought rub, or you can click the card below to see how you can make your own rub with stuff you probably already have in your kitchen. Make sure to get coverage on every side. Everything's got to be seasoned. I'm also skipping a binder here since these are going in the fridge all night. I really don't need one. If you're going to do this the morning of, you might want to use mustard or oil, Worcestershire sauce, hot sauce, whatever you like to get your seasoning to adhere. But sometimes I feel like I don't even need it then. In you go. There's a few things you'll need to cook these ribs perfectly on your Weber Kettle. First, if it didn't come included with your grill, you'll need a grate with hinges on both sides. Next, you'll need some charcoal and wood chunks for smoke. Natural fire starters are a must. I like these tumbleweeds. Of course, you'll need a lighter or matches, an instant read thermometer, heat protection like these little white gloves, and some food-safe gloves to handle the meat. You might also want some tongs. These next 2 are optional, but I'm gonna use a little brush for my sauce and this wire rack that you saw me use for prep and later for resting. You'll also need an aluminum pan or a metal bowl that you don't like very much. Alrighty y'all, it's the next day and I'm ready to cook. I've left the ribs inside on the counter to let them warm up from the fridge. Let's get this grill lit. The first step for my fire is to start filling coals right around here. I want it all grouped on one side, and I'm gonna light one end so it just travels across throughout the duration of the cook. I'll get about 3 or 4 hours out of this, plus a few briquettes thrown on to extend the cook. If you want, you can use one of these little baskets. I'm gonna opt not to today. In they go. Yeah, we'll start there. Again, we're just gonna group them all together. Now that I've got my coals the way I like them, I'm gonna stick one of these little natural fire starters under a few of them. And before we light her up, I'm gonna put on some of these hickory wood chunks here and all around. These are gonna start lighting during the cook. We just want them to smolder and imbue all that smoky hickory goodness. And you can use anything. I had hickory because it was on sale, but you could use cherry, apple, pecan would be nice, or just regular oak. We're just gonna get this started. These coals will start lighting the other ones, and we'll just have a long, slow cook here. I'm gonna set an aluminum pan down where I want my ribs to be. There are 2 reasons I'm gonna do this, because number 1, I'm gonna fill it with a little beer. Now you can use apple juice, you can use water. We just need some liquid in the pan so that when it heats up, it'll steam and create a nice moist environment for our ribs. Also, it's gonna help catch some of the drippings from the ribs so I don't end up with a messy, fatty grill at the end of this cook. Look, there's even a little left for me. Cheers. I'm gonna set the grill grate down. very carefully. Now I'm gonna let the vents go wide open. Let this start to smolder. A lot of your newer Webers are gonna have a built-in temperature gauge somewhere on the lid. As you can see, I have the basic model, so I do not have one of those. So my low-tech solution is this little guy. It is a probe thermometer that I'm just gonna stick right in the grill. It's not gonna be perfect, but it'll at least give me an idea of where we're at. And I'm gonna set that to 250, so when it goes off, I'll know it's time to put the ribs on. While this grill's heating up in the shade, it's heating up out here too, so let's talk temperature. I like to cook my ribs anywhere between 250 and 275. I feel like anything higher than 300 can get away from you and you'll end up with some really tough and chewy ribs. And anything under 225, you're killing a lot of time. You may end up with a tender rib, but it's gonna take forever. 250 to 275 is nice because I can get it done in about 5 hours. So this is gonna work out perfect and it's gonna turn out tender and juicy. I can just feel it. Let's go. It's been about 20 minutes and my grill is still hovering around 145, 150, so it's time to employ drastic measures. Introducing the barbecue fan. I think I got this for free at Western Southern 4 years ago maybe. We're just gonna get these coals really going, make sure it's lit, and get this cook going. Here we go, starting to see a little flame here. I think we're getting close to lit, so I'm gonna stick the lid back on here and let that temperature ride. Alrighty guys, we're getting real close on temp, so I'm gonna go ahead and open my lid and throw these ribs on. You can see they've turned this beautiful ruby color after sitting in the fridge at night. All that seasoning is just melted right in. We're gonna put this right on. This is the fat side. That's gonna be toward the fire for the first hour of our cook. We're gonna turn them around about an hour in, and then we're gonna flip them. On goes our lid. Alrighty, all those ribs are on. We're looking at a good 250, 255 right now. I've got the probe thermometer set just to make sure that it doesn't go over 290 without me knowing. And we're just gonna sit back for an hour. Don't be checking your ribs every 5 minutes because that's gonna let all your heat out and your ribs will take longer. So if you're looking, you're not cooking. In the meantime, it's kind of nice in the shade. I'll see you guys in an hour. Alrighty guys, we're officially 1 hour into the cook. Temperature's been swinging between 260 and 280, so right where I like it. Let's open up the lid and see how these ribs are looking. Ooh, and they are pretty already. Rich mahogany color. See some of this juice coming out, some of this fat rendering down. They look really nice. What I want to do at this point is just turn them around. Give everything an even chance to cook through. So now the fat side is facing away from the fire. This side is where we're going to start seeing some bones stick out about midway through the cook, and fire's looking okay. It looks like it's about halfway done, so I'll definitely need to add some charcoal a little later. At this point, if you're seeing any spots that look too dark, you can use a spritz. I like to use this little apple cider vinegar and hot sauce mix. I don't want to do too much to it, maybe just over here. You never really want to soak your ribs. We don't want to work against the bark that we're working on making, but just some of the spots that are turning black. You can spritz with apple cider, apple juice, water if you want. These are looking good. Another hour on, we'll check back soon. So, a quick note on temperature. Flare-ups can happen. You walk away from your fire for just a couple minutes and all of a sudden it's out. Listen, these aren't things that are gonna ruin your cook, so don't focus too high on this number. Just use your vents to control the flow of air. I'm gonna close it up a little bit because I don't want it to go over 300. Oh, we just keep grilling. And now we're gonna see how our ribs look after 2 hours. Very nice. Look at all that fat pooling up here. Looks like I missed a little crispy bit, but that's okay. Beautiful color here. This is the fat side, remember? And I know I told you those bones were gonna start kicking out here, and they are starting to come out. I'll show you just a little bit of a bend test here. These are still pretty not bendy. So what we're gonna do now is flip these over, get this underside up top. I'm gonna spritz a couple of these little areas with my apple cider vinegar and hot sauce mix. Overall, this is looking really good. As this continues, these bones are gonna continue to stick out, and I just love the color on these things. So we're gonna let this keep going. 1 more hour on this side. All right, guys, 1 more hour down, about 1 more to go. Let's check in on our ribs. Look at how dark those have turned. We were running some pretty heavy smoke. You can see my fire's almost out, so I'm gonna need to put some more on there, but hey, check this out. Look at these little dinosaur bones popping out. Very nice. Bunch of fat pooling up on top, right over our membrane here. So let's flip them over, see how they look. Nice and dark. Don't worry, the meat inside is gonna be tender, juicy. Ooh, I can just feel it. I can just feel it. These things are starting to get a little bendy. You know these are getting close to done when the bones are sticking out and when the bend is almost like it's gonna fall apart in your hands. I am gonna hit some of this with some apple cider vinegar, brushing it on gently because my sprayer broke, just to make sure these areas don't get too dark. Very nice. Awesome. I can just brush it across. That bark is really set up. I'm gonna throw a couple more coals on here just to make sure this stays lit. Got a couple of these thin pieces of hickory. I'm just gonna set right on here. That'll help keep it hot and maybe a little more smoky. We're getting tender. I think I'm hitting bone there. Let's try, oh, about right there. Looking about 193 there. Oh yeah, we're down to 185 in this spot. 180. We're gonna need to let these go just a little bit longer. They're not quite probe tender yet either, where I can just stick it through like butter. So I'm gonna go ahead and let these go. I'm just gonna send it. Alrighty, y'all, another 30 minutes more, and I reckon we got about 20 minutes left in these ribs. Ooh, yeah. Those are looking nice. I've warmed up some barbecue sauce here. I'm just gonna go in right on top. These aren't going on for much longer, so I just wanna give it a chance to kind of tack up, cook on. Smells awesome out here. I do like a sweet and sticky rib. So I'm gonna make sure these get a nice coverage with my Stubbs hickory bourbon sauce here. You use your favorite. You don't even have to use the sauce at all. Lid back on. See you in a few. Alrighty, y'all, that's just enough time for the sauce to tack on. These look awesome. It's not about how they look, it's about how they feel. And look how bendy those things are. Ooh, it's gonna break if I go much more. Very nice. All over these bones are popping right out. Feels good. Feels like it's ready to come off. So I want this to stop cooking immediately. So I've got a wire rack. I'm gonna set this right on. And oh God, as much as I wanna eat these right frickin' now, I'm gonna let these rest on my counter. Easier said than done when you live with a very hungry cat, but maybe I can keep him distracted with some salmon treats. The final verdict, we got a beautiful color on them, a little dark. I might have wanted to take these off just a little earlier, but I don't know, that bend's pretty good. I think I can do this. Oh, yep, comes right out. Got a really nice crust on it. That sauce is cooked up nice. I have a little more reserved so I can put some more on if I like. And at this point, we're gonna slice and dice. I like to turn them up a little bit and just slice down the bones because that's just easy for me. Awesome. Let's take a quick peek. Look at that awesome smoke ring penetrating very far into the ribs. We got some juice coming out. I can't wait another minute. I gotta take a bite. Oh, wing bone there. This meat is so tender and delicious. The ancho and the coffee rub is really tasty. It's really doing it for me. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it might be just a touch over. I probably wanted to take this off maybe 15, 20 minutes before, but I'm not mad at how these turned out. Once in the end, oh, you can see the smoke ring really well on that. All that hickory flavor. I'm gonna try this one. That's good, just a nice bite through rib. Not a bad way to spend an afternoon, my friends. Overall, this is a really simple, easy way to make these ribs. And again, these are no wrap ribs. You could always put a rack of ribs on for 3 hours, 2 hours in foil, and then 1 hour with some sauce. And those will deliver a tender, juicy rib too, but those are just fall off the bone. These I like a rib that you can bite through. They leave some teeth marks in. They're not falling apart in your hands. I'm not really gonna eat this whole thing on camera. I can't. That's not fair to you guys. Thanks for watching this tutorial, you guys. I hope you found it helpful and enjoyable. I want to know how your cooks go, so leave a comment if you try this recipe out. And if you like this video, go ahead and leave a like, and make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any ASMR barbecue or any of these awesome grilling tutorials. I'll see you guys next time. Come back to the yard soon.